Good morning, you bunch of absolute legends. So this morning I'm out on the Multistrada, which I'll be talking about a little bit more in a moment, and reflect on what is just over 1 year of ownership now. And we're not using indicators anymore. So we are heading out east in the direction of Bath or Bath, whichever way you prefer to say it. The sat-nav is set and we're on our way to Luigi Moto. So Luigi Moto, if you don't already know, is a business near Bath that's run by Richard Llewellyn. He's the mechanic there. He's also a motorcycle racer, and he is the guru of Ducati, certainly in the UK. If there's a Ducati problem, people in the know will always go to him. He's brilliant. Now in a couple of weeks time my 600 SS is booked in there for belts check and a service and a tune from the carbs that I recently refitted after they've been sent away for cleaning and adjusting and refurbishing. So he's going to have the bike and he's going to set it up for me. And just to keep you in the picture, it's now Sunday morning. It's a bit grotty weather-wise. It isn't raining at the moment, however it rained in the night and the road surface is a bit greasy, shall we say. But I'm heading over there on a Sunday morning. I know it's closed, but it's a very good reason, and that's because when I've used them before, or used Richard before, he's actually come over to Weston-super-Mare, collected my bike, taken it away, done the work and then delivered it back to me. That was during lockdown, so I've not used them as such in the meantime to be able to go there and see where it is. Now this bike I've got a sat-nav on, so I am using the sat-nav today to go and find out where it is, so that when I ride the 600 SS, which doesn't have a sat-nav on because it's standard and that's the way I'm going to keep it, I know where to go in the morning without needing any additional navigation. But today I'm not talking about that Ducati, I'm talking about this Ducati. Yes, I'm a lucky boy. I know that I'm a lucky boy. So I've had the Multistrada now just over a year. And I can honestly say I've ridden it. You know, I've done I think about 5,000 miles since I got it. 2,000 of those were the trip for the two of us down to Italy in the Stelvio Pass and back. So I think I've got a fair bit of experience that I can share with you. Hey, it's an adventure. So this is, if you don't already know, a 2012 1200S Ducati Multistrada. It's obviously the 1198 engine. I'm pretty sure it's the 1198 engine anyway. Slightly detuned for more torque and less top end, although I've never actually got anywhere near the top end on this because it's not a slow motorbike. It's got the usual rider modes. I mean, we're talking now obviously about a 13-year-old bike, but it's got the rider modes of urban, touring, sport, and there's one for off-road as well, all of which change the power output, the amount of brake horsepower that you have, also changes the suspension and the handling characteristics. It has fully electronic adjustable suspension. Back in its day, this was an incredible bit of kit when it came out, and it's still an incredible bit of kit now, to be fair. So in that time of riding, what have I found with the bike? Well, performance wise, I've never ever found it lacking in any way, shape or form, and that's just me riding or two up fully loaded with a lot of luggage, enough luggage for a South European road trip for two people. Never found it lacking in performance, not one bit. Handling is incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. It's quite a tall bike. Jumping off a sports bike or a road bike onto this, you will find it is quite tall, but it handles like a dream. I think most of that is down to the suspension rather than the tyres. I am running Michelin Road 5s on here at the moment, which are brilliant. Dodgy junction. The brakes are serviced on the front by Brembos and on the rear by Brembos, and they have been outstanding. I had some issues when I first bought it, only because the discs were slightly warped. They were replaced under warranty. Since then I've had no issues. I have gone through a set of tyres, but only because I wanted to put fresh ones on to do the European trip. I didn't want to get halfway around Europe and find out I needed to find somewhere urgently to put a set of decent tyres on. So have I had any problems with it? Well, actually yes, but I don't think you can blame the bike for it. You kind of probably have to blame maybe age and mileage. You know, it's done just over 30,000 miles. It is 13 years old, and I had a failure of the what's called the BBS module, which kind of controls most things, gives you all sorts of warnings on the dash about ABS and electronic suspension failure, and it caused it not to start as well. So I had to pull the main fuse to reset it, and then it would start, but come up with a warning still. So that was replaced. That was replaced at CMC Motorcycles, which is where I bought the bike from, who have been brilliant, by the way. The only other thing has been the rear seat lock and cable release, which is just rubbish. It's an awful position because the barrel is in the rear wheel arch, which means it's open to all the elements. It's very easily filled up with grit and dirt, and that tends to lock up. You put a bit more pressure on it and then it snaps the cable, or the cable jumps off the holder, which means you can't open the rear seat, which is a nightmare, because if you can't open the rear seat, you then can't take the front seat off. It can be fixed, but it's really fiddly. So does the bike age well? Well, in my opinion, yes, most Ducatis age well visually. It's, in my honest opinion, a stunning looking bike. It's got a single-sided swinging arm, which, you know, isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it's just one of those archetypal Ducati things which looks awesome, and has done ever since sort of the 916 came out and blew the motorcycle design apart. As with any motorcycle, a lot of it's down to how it's kept. This, I think, has been looked after by previous owners. The paintwork's in exceptional condition, and a good coat of polish, a bit of auto gleam on the top, and all of a sudden you get that gorgeous warm Ducati red brightness coming through again, and it just looks absolutely incredible. The S model comes with the luggage, which I don't have on today, the panniers that are also color coded, along with a lot of carbon fiber extras. So the front nose cone's carbon fiber, the timing belt cover is carbon fiber, there are a couple of other little bits of carbon fiber here and there, but it looks really good in my opinion. I have changed the front screen. I could have spent an absolute fortune on the Pikes Peak version, which is very similar to the one that's on there now, but instead of that I bought a second-hand standard screen, measured it out to look like the Pikes Peak size of screen, and then cut it down and covered it in carbon fiber tape, Fablon plastic, sticky back plastic, whatever you call it, purely because, and it wasn't even a visual thing, although I think it looks better with the low screen on it, with a standard screen you get an awful lot of buffeting around the helmet. Now you can cope with it every now and then. You can lift the screen up, it is adjustable. So is there anything that I'm not overly happy about with this bike? Well, there's something that I think could be improved upon. I suspect they have improved upon it with the newer models, and that's the range, the tank range. Now it's okay in reality, you can get about 150 miles out of it. A lot of that may be down to how hard you ride it. Obviously you can probably get a little bit more, or a hell of a lot less if you push it hard, but in reality the Benelli I had before would comfortably do 250 miles on a tank full two up, and it was a bit of a shock to this to see the fuel gauge dropping quite so quickly as it does. I think up against other big tourers, and look, I don't know this for sure because I've not ridden any other big tourers for any length of time, but I think it could be improved upon, in my opinion. But that's not to say it's bad, it's just something that if you're buying it for touring you have to bear in mind. With the Multistrada is, as the name suggests, this is for all roads, and I am going on all roads today. Wow. Okay, not really sure if this is the most direct route to Luigi Motos, but we'll find out. So yeah, all roads, so it's done touring. We did the Stelvio Pass. This will do commuting if you wanted to do. Drop the suspension down at the softest level and put some knobblies or at least 50/50s on, and all of a sudden this will go off-road, and it'll do it comfortably and easily. This will do anything you ask it to do, and it'll do it with absolute pleasure. There are some superbly pretty areas in the Somerset and West Country region. I know there's superbly pretty areas around the entire country, I know, but very often you don't appreciate and don't recognise what you've got right on your own doorstep. Give those beautiful babbas a bit of space. Keep the revs low. Not only because they are stunning animals and do not deserve to be spooked by a motorcycle, but also because if one of those rears up, not only is it a danger to the rider, but it's also a danger to me. And according to my satellite navigation, this is where Luigi Motos is. Obviously closed today, we know that. I'll spin it round and then we'll just have a little 5-minute stretch of legs before heading back. So I'm going to leave you there. Thanks very much for watching. If you got to the end, I appreciate that, and well done to you. I'll hopefully do a video when I bring the 600SS over here, and I can let you know how much better it feels after it's been tuned by the guru. Cheers, take it steady.